Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We have the agendas in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Is
So moved.
there a second? Any further discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes from last week, Betty, if you'd read those for us.
February 12th, 2024. Chairman Helgevold called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. Members present were Cluse and Helgevold, with Rasmussen present via Zoom. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Helgevold to approve the tentative agenda. Motion carries. Minutes of the regular meeting of February 5, 2024 were read and approved. Approved claims for payment. Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, gave an update on secondary roads. There were 5 work orders completed last week. Blades were out working intersections, railroad crossings, bridge approaches, and isolated corrugations with the warmer temperatures last week. Crews began picking up brush piles from when the brush cutting was completed. Regine Chapman, Wright County Trails, gave an update on the trails. The Clarion Greenway section has successfully been transferred for the Wright County Trails connecting Clarion to the Lake Cornelia Blacktop. Cluse voiced his concern about the crossing that will need to be placed over the White Fox Creek. Lisa Russell has stepped down from the Trails Committee, and they would like to have Teresa Sadler, Eagle Grove, be appointed. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Helgevold to appoint Teresa Sadler to the Wright County Trails Committee. Motion carries. Brian Jensen, Denny Bowman, and David Stanton with Claremont Country Club is seeking to resolve the property taxes for parcel number 0709451002. In 2014, Wright County Conservation contacted the state of Iowa for ownership on another parcel. This would then show the old sovereign lake bed, which the state owns. Claremont Country Club continued to receive property tax statements from this parcel. They are seeking a refund of $12,000 for past taxes and interest over the years. The Iowa DNR spoke in regards to the initial survey that was completed and is in the jurisdiction of the state of Iowa. The survey showed where the rivers and lakes are set. The board will discuss with Wright County attorney and reach out to a board member from the Claremont Country Club. Wright County Board of Supervisors, acting as drainage district trustees, met to discuss the drainage ditch, brush and weed control service contract and take action. Moore stated that the contract has not been used previously and why it would be beneficial to implement one in Wright County. She stated that the contract requires the contractor to provide a certificate of insurance matching the same requirements as drainage contractors and a commercial pesticide applicator license annually. Trees will be handled separately from the contract with a petition for repair to be filed by the contractor. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to approve the drainage ditch, brush and weed control service contract and put it out for bid. Motion carried. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to publish the bid notice in the newspapers for 2 consecutive weeks as soon as possible and post notice on the county website. Bid letting deadline set for Friday, March 8th, 2024 at 3:00 p.m. with bids being opened Monday, March 11th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors room. Motion carried. Motion by Rasmussen, second by Cluse to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Any additions or corrections? If not, they will stand approved as read. Open forum for public. Anybody in the chambers or online who wish to address the board? Go ahead. Bob, you got something?
Morning. Good morning. This is Judy Ritter.
Hey, Judy.
I have a quick question. Have you had any more contact with Mr. Whipple as far as what your plan is for the pipelines?
Yes, ma'am. We met with Tim Whipple at the statewide supervisors meeting. We had a meeting for about an hour and a half with him and representatives from 5 of the 7 counties that are represented in the counties. He anticipates that we'll hear something from the Iowa Utility Board around the end of April. And the thing that he's using as a guide for that timeline is the amount of time it took for the Dakota access and the increased number of parcels, that they're seeking eminent domain on compared to, the Dakota Access Pipeline. Other than that, you know, he reiterated that, if we do ordinances, more than likely we would have, a suit brought against us. He did not discourage us from passing ordinances. He said this is just a fact, as we saw Cassuth County when they passed their ordinance. They had a lawsuit filed against them immediately. And so, I guess we've turned it over to our planning and zoning, board, and, if they bring a recommendation to us, then we will act on it.
Okay. And I'm sure this is in the back of your mind too, that if IUB does give them a permit, would any ordinances passed after that permit, would they be viable?
I think there's too many variables to give you a good answer on that, Judy. You know, part of the testimony of our experts was that Summit Carbon Solution had not complied with any of our current planning and zoning ordinances or comprehensive plans. They didn't even consider those. They felt that they preempt those. And our position is, and the letter from PIMSA states in fact that PIMSA feels that they should work with local jurisdictions and state and local ordinances, which they haven't done. So until we see what the IUB rules, I mean, they may have conditions that say, well, I won't even speculate, but it could come out the way I think it should come out is, no, you can't have eminent domain, and yes, you need to go back and work with under each one of those local ordinances, in which case they would require a variance in order to put industrial into ag land. So I know that that's a convoluted answer. I wish I had a more straightforward one for you.
Until they
Okay.
rule something, we just don't know.
Right.
Well, the fact that they haven't cooperated with you on your road ordinances and so forth, they've been threatening from day one, you know, if you didn't sign, we'll use eminent domain. And if you pass an ordinance, we'll sue you.
Right.
So, I don't think these are very reputable people to deal with. But I guess I just want to let you know that we landowners out here are still out here and trying to work on things, but
And we have not forgotten that. I want to ensure you of that. I agree with you 100%, and it seems like the evidence is clear to me, and it should be a clear and easy decision by the Iowa Utility Board. But I also recognize the political pressure that they're under. So maybe I'm not being realistic.
We did find out they're reviewing each parcel though, individually.
Yes, right, that's part of what's gonna take extra time. Each one of the parcels has to be considered individually, and the IUB has got to take into consideration the testimony that each one of those landowners provided in the hearing.
okay, all right, well,
Sure.
thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Review and act on conflict waiver share for the shared nationalist position with Franklin County with having Allers and Cooney draft the 28E. And Eric, you know,
This is just a formality, releasing the agent for Ehlers and Cooney to talk with both counties.
Right, because they represent both counties, and you had to
They
disclose that they
both
represent both.
counties For various reasons.
Did I give you guys copies? of
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. And so this was, directed to us in care of you. Are we gonna answer this or are you gonna answer it?
They were seeking your approval on
Okay.
this.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we, that we provide written consent, to allow Allers and Cooney to represent both counties. And we waive the conflict of interest, that represents in working on a 2080 agreement between the two counties.
Is there a second to that?
I would second that.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Review and act on Oak Ridge liquor license permit and application.
They got all their stuff in, Betty.
Yes, they do.
I will make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do I sign this one down here? Okay, appoint Jeremiah, is it Let's?
Phil.
Phelps, to Wall Lake Township trustee for a term ending on 12/31/24.
He would be replacing Dean Cleveland's, or finishing Dean Cleveland's term.
Hmm.
I would make a motion to appoint Jeremy Phelps, to, complete the remainder of Dean Cleveland's, term for Wall Lake Township trustee.
I would
There a second?
second. that.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Does that kind of fill all of our slates now for,
No, we're still looking for a replacement for me.
okay. Okay, let's see, 9:15. Brittany, we're close at Brittany.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just when you sit, you can go sit up there, just watch when you sit down, the wood will hit your knees.
The table.
Yeah, table.
Okay, thank you. I'm Brittany Rice. I work at Community and Family Resources and I manage our problem gambling, treatment program for our area. I cover the original 8 counties that Community and Family Resources has, including Wright County. March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month, so I have the proclamation for that. And was hoping to move forward with that.
Would you like to read it for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling and Community and Family Resources has designated March 2024 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Whereas problem gambling is a public health issue affecting millions of Americans of all ages, races, and ethnic backgrounds. Whereas problem gambling has a significant societal and economic cost for individuals, families, businesses, and communities. Whereas problem gambling is treatable and treatment is effective in minimizing the harm to both individuals and society as a whole. Whereas numerous individuals, professionals, and organizations have dedicated their efforts to the education on the public about problem gambling and the availability and effectiveness of treatment. Whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling and CFR invite all residents of Wright County, Iowa to participate in Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Therefore, I can't pronounce your last name.
Helga.
Thank you. Chairman, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2024 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month in Wright County, Iowa, and encourage all citizens to support the National Council on Problem Gambling and CFR in their efforts to mitigate gambling-related harm nationwide.
Motion to approve that resolution declaring March as the,
Problem Gambling Awareness Month.
thank you, man.
Yes.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Great.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate what you do.
Do I need to bring this up? too?
Yeah, I just.
And do you guys need a copy of that or?
Yes, do you have the next one?
I don't have it.
Okay.
I didn't think to bring the second one.
I
Okay,
can make a copy real quick.
Thank you.
Dean, do you need this, you need all the signatures or just the one?
I just put the one line
Oh,
on there.
okay, perfect. I didn't pay any attention. I thought there was more lines of this.
There's like a title line and
Oh,
a
yeah.
date line.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh,
You see an increase of people coming to you with gambling?
You know, actually, we have. I ran a report recently and just between the difference from November to January. In November, we had one person screen positive for problem gambling, and in January, we had 20.
Wow.
So there's been a significant increase. And then, of course, with the Super Bowl and things like that.
What are the markers for screening positive?
The markers.
Well, whatever you look for, the characteristics.
So we use a gambling screening. It's called the DGS spurt. And so there's 9 different questions. And so some of what the questions are like, are you gambling and hiding it? Are you gambling with increased bets to get the same physical feeling you might have gotten before? Are you risking important relationships, jobs, things like that in order to continue gambling? There's a few more on there, obviously, but those are some of them.
Interesting.
Has it been an
Yes, ma'am.
increase with DraftKings and
Yeah, we are seeing more of the online sports betting and things like that, so, and it's really scary just because, you know, people can log on to phones and gamble and they can lie about their age. So we're seeing, you know, younger folks doing it as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Adam Cummins, the county secondary roads update.
So blades and trucks last week were out picking up brush township by township. We have the excavator also out doing some of their work orders that we have assigned to them. The brush cutter will be out going today throughout this week to get their work orders done that we have. We completed 19 work orders last week and see 13 of them with the 2 excavators going. Miscellaneous, we ordered 200 tons of salt and it's come in, and we ordered another 200 out of the 500 that we've set on our contract with the Iowa DOT when we did that local letting. So we will need to get another 100 coming at some point, but it's gonna be sticking out of the bin, so which is fine. So
Do we tarp it then, or?
yeah,
Okay.
start it. Yep. So I think one truckload of the 200, the second order has come in, but
Okay.
so where am I at?
So we won't use it this week.
I hope we don't use it at all. But it's nice to have a problem. Yes, it's nice to have a problem with too much salt in the bin. So
Absolutely.
that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 11, review the notice of public hearing of the proposed property tax levy and set dates for hearings, possibly April 1 and April 8.
Or,
Or
So when we looked at this, Carl is gone the 15th and the 22nd. But my recommendation is we stick with the first, that requires, 10 days, not less than 10, not more than 20. So that would allow us to, make it the 22nd, I think it was.
Yep.
And that would be the second,
Second.
date. I would think that if somebody had an issue with
yeah,
it.
yeah, maybe in the first one, and
Right.
I'll zoom in on it, so it's not
Okay. Did you have any
any other.
input on that? Are we
No,
cutting it too close
no,
or?
this is, and I gave you a copy of what the notice was gonna look like.
Yeah,
And I also have a copy of what the letter from March is going to kind of, this is a general format. Oh, you have a copy of that?
yep,
And so on here, on the back side of it, it says examples below show taxes on property with values $100,000 with a valuation of 100,000 would be distributed in both the current and proposed budget years. And because our levy rate is staying the same, but the rollback came down, the percent change in that column will be 15%
okay.
down, a negative 15%.
We should be able to make a note, I assume. I mean, there's specific notes on this letter. I'm assuming that we can put a note down there ourselves. We don't have to, I mean, what the heck do Wright County residents care about for Polk County only? I mean,
Yeah, and I don't know if this was just a sample one from the Polk County, for
Okay.
the Department of Management's website. And so,
we should be able to
This is-
personalize it in some way.
I don't think so, because what happens is we put all of this information into the Department of Management,
Yep,
and we put our budget in there, and then, it pulls certain cells and populates this.
Okay.
And the only thing that I can do is put, if the reason proposed property tax exceeds the current property tax,
okay,
I can put a note in there.
And this is
If
new
there's
this year with
something-
the
Yeah,
last year's
this is
bill.
totally new. This is, and when we got a copy of this, it was, it with the preference that it can still change. This is.
I know,
because this
that's
is all
just-
new.
it drove me crazy when I read this, and the first note on this sheet is final tax rates will change due to final adopted amounts, legislative changes, and other levy authorities not included on this map. I mean, the purpose of this was to inform the taxpayer.
Yeah.
And all it's gonna do is confuse the taxpayer. It
Still
just
subject to change.
drives me crazy. And how much is it gonna cost us to send this out in the county?
I think, and because we don't know how many exactly, because if I have 10 parcels in one tax district, I only get one letter. Whereas when Peggy does it,
That's nice.
yeah,
Nice, I'm jealous now.
yeah,
So how much does it cost for you to send it out? when it's-
Thousand, but I.
about
have to send-
6,000, I
Cause I have
think.
to send I have to send one sheet of paper for every single parcel,
Correct.
Right,
so you,
Oh, what a waste.
yeah.
But this is per tax district. I mean, like if she's going from Blaine to Vernon, that's two separate letters.
Yeah, but I send,
Right.
yeah, so there's no way to compare mine to that.
Unfortunately, you can't combine the whole county on that sheet.
gotcha. Okay,
Are you doing it in-house, Betty?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm using mail services, same as yours.
Because then you'll get a cut on the tax, or on the postage.
Postage.
and the other question I had concerning this is, when you said that these are populated by the Department of Management, right? And they're gonna use the form that we submit to them and publish in the paper. Will those numbers match? Or
Yes,
they
yes,
will?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'll be able to look at this when I receive it
Mm-hmm,
and look at what was published in the paper
mm-hmm,
and say, okay, I understand where they got that number
Mhm.
from. Okay,
yes.
I love the new rules.
Oh, it's, you
It's
just,
gonna
remember-
confuse people more than it's gonna.
it really is. I don't think people are even gonna understand. The nice thing was, that on the very top, it's gonna be the schools first, and then this, and then the county, and then the city, so. Schools get,
Schools are gonna get feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
so, and it does, and it'll be interesting to see, on the back side, it says for assistance interpreting the property tax mailing, consult the Department of Management, DOM.
Oh,
Nice.
has it got their, no, oh, it
No
does?
phone number, just an email
I'm
address.
gonna call you though,
Oh, yeah,
because it's gonna have your return email, or return address on it, right?
yeah.
Okay.
it'll end here.
Huh?
It'll end
It'll
here.
start here and end here, yeah.
So,
When do you mail this out?
but we have to no later than March 20th. So by mailing this out on March 20th, then the mailing should get in the
To
people's
them.
hands for our April 1
Meeting,
meeting.
okay.
Okay.
So I would make a motion to set, the public hearing for the proposed property tax levy on, April 1st at, you wanna do it at 9 or
This is two separate.
Yeah.
initiatives.
or is this
It has to be,
So like this
a separate meeting?
meeting.
Can be in the same
Two separate
day, but
meetings.
so,
You can start this one at 9 AM and then your regular one at
9:30,
9:30.
yeah, why don't we do the new one at 9?
Okay.
And then we just have a regular meeting at 9:30.
okay,
Okay,
This is at 9 o'clock.
yeah,
and that would be my motion.
okay. Rick,
I'll
you have to
sec-
understand that? Okay. A second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're set on that. Okay, item 12, Courtney, you got a few things for us. Gonna start with an update to show interactive transfer books and interactive survey books.
Yes.
Do you want,
To do it on there.
Yes.
Excellent.
I do have more copies if anybody is interested in seeing them.
I think the keyboard's up there for you.
Screen share. Okay,
Okay, so Rick, can you see the website now on your screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
all right, so the first one I will go over here is our transfer books. During COVID time, we worked on getting all the transfer books uploaded to the website. Amanda was a huge help in getting that up there as well. So if you go to the main page of the website and go to departments A through K and under auditor. Over on the right-hand side in the blue bar here, if you scroll down, there is a header called real estate information. Underneath of that link, you will see that there is the instructions for the interactive transfer books and the interactive survey books, as well as the pages to get to the transfer books for each of those. The instructions are what I handed out to you guys so that you can see them.
Yep,
So if we go to the transfer books page, this is what it'll look like, or what it does look like. At the top here, these are all the land, and they are in order as our county is laid out. And then down at the bottom is all the towns. All you have to do is click any sector, township that you're interested in looking at, select your section. And then from here, you can select a date range. 2013 to current, that is going to be the most recent transfer book entries. And that is also in an Excel spreadsheet format, so it's very simple to read. Looks like this. And then,
so,
Sorry.
so this is specifically in section 10 of Pleasant Township,
yes,
but then where does it break it down from there? If I'm,
so right across the top here, this is gonna be your quarters.
okay, got it,
And
yep,
then right below that is your quarter.
okay,
And then your legal description. Breaking them out of the way here. Your legal description is over here on the far right column.
okay, thank you.
And then you got your grantees, your grantors, your document dates. What kind of document it was, and then the recording book and page. So if you need to pull that up in like the recorder's office to get a copy of it, you can do that.
Okay,
So now if we go back,
Is that document searchable?
yes, it should be. How do I get?
somebody's name,
Yeah, so you
okay,
can hit control F and be able to search.
Okay.
instead of trying to scroll.
Hit
Right.
Wright County logo over there, and you'll just have to close out the tab later. Okay, that's fine.
But then Courtney, those on that spreadsheet, those are listed in order by date that transferred happened within section 10 of Pleasant Township.
Yes,
Okay,
most current will be at the bottom.
okay, got it. Thank you.
And if we go back in there, I'll show you what the historical ones look like. So the older that you get, they're gonna be a PDF image,
Wow.
the scanned page of what the book looks like.
Okay,
It's great for research.
Yes,
no
definitely.
doubt.
No,
Oh, yeah.
the older that you get, a lot of them,
Read it.
yeah. The older you get, a lot of them don't have book and page.
Okay,
So you would want to write down the information like the grantee, the grantor, and your data filing, and then you would take that to the recorder's office to search through their indexing books to find the
okay.
document number.
So that, like, that's on page 171, but you don't know what book that is, right?
Say a book on it?
Correct, if it said that on here.
Okay,
I think he's looking
But-
at the top.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking at the top right.
Oh, no, that's
just
That's the transfer
that's the
book page.
page of the transfer book,
Okay,
yeah.
those two don't coincide.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
If there was more than one page of entries, they would all show here, you would just scroll and they would all be here. But yes, definitely have fun trying to read their
Yeah,
writing.
and you can zoom in.
Yes, you can zoom in and out,
To
so
make
if it
it,
makes it a
Okay,
little bit
that's not
easier
bad.
to read it.
Yeah.
You definitely can do that too. And then again, your legal description is gonna be over here on the right. And document type, and then your dates of filing, date of instrument, just like we have now,
Okay,
Wow.
okay? I'll show you a town one real quick, just because they are laid out just slightly different. Click on Clarion, so if you go into the town, you'll see the list of all the subdivisions within that town.
Okay.
You can select whatever subdivision that you're looking for.
if you don't know what subdivision you're in, is there a way to, is there a map?
There's not,
There is not. Okay.
no,
All right,
Is it normally
That would be
located on
nice.
Beacon though?
Mhm.
Is it,
yeah, it
if you,
should
if you go to
say,
Beacon and look up your property, it should say,
Should say it on there.
yes.
should say what
Okay.
edition you're in.
Okay, gotcha.
Drill it down there.
gotcha.
And then, it'll list the blocks, so you would select what block you're in. And then you'll have your date ranges,
Oh,
and they'll pull up just like the land did.
okay,
Wow.
So all of the transfer books are uploaded. If anybody is on there searching and they notice any, discrepancy or an error or something might not be loading, we ask that they please contact our office so that we can make sure we get that corrected.
Okay.
We've had a couple of things, I think, come up, but not too many.
yeah,
There's
maybe
been a lot
like a
of
link,
people-
like it got linked to the wrong.
Well,
Section
it
township
was like
range.
the originals. The originals for Clarion and Eagle Grove were
Mhm.
crossing each other because they were both original.
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
So we had to rename all that stuff.
Yeah, or we had an issue where Revise changed their formatting and some of the file names had an apostrophe in it, and when they changed it, it didn't like the apostrophe, so it broke the links.
Okay,
So then they no longer worked. I think I've had 2 calls where there was an entry on the transfer book, but it was entered in on the wrong transfer book on historical. So we've gone in and we've corrected that. We draw a line through it and then we put it on the correct one. So. That is our transfer books. Again, they are all uploaded. So if there is anything on there, just let us know.
and so how do, moving forward, as a transfer happens, does it take a month before this is updated, or it's updated as soon as we do the entry?
My understanding is it's twice a day, if that is still working.
Okay,
Through Andy, he does that externally.
okay,
He's got a background program that has to run through it all. Once we enter that information into the spreadsheet, then it gets updated. I think it's like at noon and then sometime in the night
okay,
it updates, so
so,
every day.
yeah, so recorder's office, electronically, most of them are electronic now, right? Gets the deeds,
Yeah,
and then, she checks periodically, you know, I don't know, you don't do it daily, do you?
no,
So, but within the week,
yeah,
okay,
within
Yeah.
5 days.
okay.
she checks that and then she goes through, puts it into the plat book and then puts it into the transfer book.
And even if we have a document that might have a concern or an issue that we have, no matter what, it still goes into the transfer book.
Okay.
It might get held up and not get entered into the plat book right away just because of the issue, but no matter what, it will get entered into the transfer book. The only difference might be is that last column. Show you on here. This very last column is a comments column,
Okay,
and if there was an issue with it, we would put in a comment in that column. And then typically we try and highlight that whole entire row in red font instead of the black, just so that it draws the attention.
so like, what would be what have you ever run into that would generate a comment there?
If there is a block number missing, if the measurements don't match up, a grantee or grantor, name is different, spelling's different.
Okay,
There's all different kinds of things that we've come
okay,
across.
all right.
But that is the transfer books. The survey books are listed under the same real estate information tab. This one is very new, so it is still in the process. This is the instructions that I handed out to you as well for that. So if we go to the interactive survey books, it's gonna look just like the transfer book page. I did change the background color, so hopefully we can differentiate between the two a little bit here. Otherwise, the layout is gonna be the exact same with the land up at the top, your towns down here at the bottom. If we had any maps that pertain to the county in a whole and not a particular township or town, I have those down here at the bottom that are accessible to view. Otherwise, if we go into one, I picked on Belmont here. I've only got a few. So you would still select your section, just like we did in the transfer books. But instead of having to go in and select a date range, or for your towns, instead of selecting a block number, everything is going to be scanned in as one scan. And then you would just scroll through to find those.
Because the survey shouldn't change. I mean, the boundary lines might change, but the survey,
Surveys could change, if a landowner parcels out their acreage.
Oh, okay,
So if they wanna have the house
Something
separate
like-
from the farm ground, that could be one. A lot of these, we're gonna see for historical ones are going to be these plats of survey from like way back when, the original.
okay,
There could also be ones on here where they're the plat for the highway.
Okay.
So it's gonna show you, they're gonna look just like this, but it'll say the highway up here at the top. There's not usually a whole lot of information on these, I call them the blue sheets. Your more applicable ones are typically gonna be the white ones that are kind of come down here below. Any of the US land survey certificates, corner certificates, those will be included in these scans as well. I'll go and pick on the town one here, because I've got more in that one. So like here's Woolstock, you can still have it broke down by the subdivision. It's just, it will not be broke down any farther than that into blocks or anything. So everything for original will be scanned in here.
and earliest is always at the top, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
A lot of information.
there is.
Mhm.
This is still an ongoing project that I started just a few months ago. I do have all of our surveys scanned in now. Previously, we had multiple books in our vaults for surveys, and they were overflowing.
Good.
So I got all those scanned in. I've got a couple more files that I have to go through and rename. And then once that's done, then I'll work on really pushing out the rest of the surveys up onto the website here. But for what I do have, I'll be periodically going in and uploading as I can, but just like the transfer books, it's going to take time to put in all those links. And I have to go into those documents and combine them all into one document in order to upload that one document to the website.
A lot of background work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and then if you, let's say, you know, that you had a survey back in 1960 of it. It might be a fact that the auditor's office doesn't have that, it didn't get put into the book. The permanent records are still the recorder's office.
yes.
And so that is something to always remember, that this is kind of what we had in our office. But permanent is theirs.
Yes.
So just because it's not on here doesn't mean
It's
it's
not.
not filed with the
Correct.
courthouse. I got you. Okay.
And then just some of these down here at the bottom. Are just different documents that we may have had, like this one is the Lake Cornelia directory. And these are also zoomable as well, just like the transfer books where you can zoom in and out on them.
Okay.
They're not gonna be searchable, but you can still zoom in and out on them. So,
But that statement's not true of. What was the first one? Plats, right?
transfer books,
Transfer
Transfer
books,
books.
the transfer books
That's mine, yeah,
That is,
It's
that is ours.
in there and that's,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
transfer books
Okay.
are done, yes.
survey's more informational.
yeah,
Yep. Yep, and that one is still in the process of being built, but what we do have, it is uploaded and then progressively more and more will get uploaded in here. So that's just a look to see where we're at with them and
nice,
Nice, very
Very
nice
nice.
job.
good job.
thanks.
I will say COVID did force us to do more scanning and making stuff searchable.
That's a
And
monumental
we did-
task.
You look at this also saves time and money for surveyors, abstractors, lawyers,
You
you
bet.
know,
Mhm.
people that have anything to do with land in this county. It saves them a lot of time and having, rather than coming here or having to go to you guys and have them search it for you. You
Correct.
search it,
Exactly.
they can go right to it. That's, I mean,
We
It's great.
rarely have.
Yeah, we don't have too many that come in here
Yeah.
anymore. Usually if they call in, we let them know that it is up on the website. If they do come into our office and choose to stay there, we do have the public computer in our office that they can access all these right on the internet like this. Or we can, get them on our file server
Mhm.
so that they can access them as well.
Right.
Yeah, and we did, do this all in-house. We had tried to write for some grants years ago. Well, I still think when Lori Patrick was here. And I think she tried 2 or 3 years in a row to apply for a grant. It was gonna be anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 to do this for Wright County. I think Webster County is doing it right now with the same company. So I don't know what theirs final, because they've got, I'm sure, way more parcels. And so and that was one of our transfers, was for a lot of Amanda's time and Courtney's, from the ARP money. And what we did is we then transferred it from ARP to capital projects.
Very good.
So that,
Perfect.
so
Good
it was
use of
a
dollars.
good, yeah,
Absolutely.
good use of dollars and
Accessible to the public.
yes.
Okay. Item 2, Courtney, you're still on. Update on how to sign on the unofficial electronic email notice for drainage work.
This is something new that has recently come about. There has been, I guess, an addition to the law. This is also up onto the website for view as well. Again, if you go to departments A through K, go to auditor, over here on the right-hand side under drainage. You hover over it and down towards the bottom, it's the electronic mail request form. You can fill this out online. This is a fillable form online, or we have them in office that we can mail them out. You come into the office and fill them out. Pursuant to Iowa Code 468.17A, any person is entitled to receive notice via postal service mail It may be requested, they may request to have an unofficial version sent of the notice to an electronic email address. The board will retain of the electronic email addresses of private persons for the purpose of sending those persons electronic mail under this section and for any other correspondence if the person consents to receiving that correspondence by electronic mail. The electronic mail addresses retained by the board are confidential records under section 22.7. And at any time, they can request to have their electronic mail address removed from the record and not have those notices or correspondence sent to them. This is for drainage purposes only. This form is, and this is so they can receive such things as public hearing notices, engineers reports, benefit commissioners reports, and such related to drainage. This does not take place of sending them any items in the mail or publishing them in the paper. This is only a benefit to those that are like snowbirds that might not be up here that get their mail, and they want it electronically sent to them while they are still away.
So you would still receive the paper copy?
Yes,
Okay.
if Iowa Code states that they still have to receive it, yes.
Good.
So this information that would be requested on here would be their name. If there's a different name that they choose from the above, they can give their phone number. We would ask for their email address. We do ask them to list each of their parcel numbers that they would want information received on. So don't just give us one. If you have multiple parcels, list all of them that you would want information on. We ask for a signature and date at the bottom. And then this section down here at the bottom would be our in-house purposes that we can specify what drainage district they are in so that we can get that into our listing and our records to organize everything.
Right. Can multiple emails be attached to it? Or I'm thinking like tenants, like if I want my tenant to understand that there could be drainage work going on the
Right.
parcels. That,
Or be notified?
because they're not, yeah, be
Yeah,
notified,
and
because they're not,
absentee landowner,
correct,
not just a snowboard,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I
So,
would
or would you,
suggest that if there was a tenant that would want that information, that they would have to fill out their own form, because we would want their signature giving their permission for their email to be used as well.
wouldn't you want the owner's signature too? For that?
Right, yeah,
So you'd want an owner's
Or
signature
release
on
of
the
the
tenant's request?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
or we would have to have one from each.
Yeah. Yeah,
that makes sense.
you can put this in
Okay.
your permits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geo permits would handle that.
So we haven't had anybody sign up on this yet, just because it is so new. Not a lot of people know about it yet. Not a lot of the counties know about it yet. But we do have this available now, and these forms, anytime that we have a public hearing for any drainage district work, I will have some of these forms available in here at the meeting as well.
So, when drainage, when a drainage district is levied because there's been work done, would they receive an electronic copy of
There's
what they normally receive from, I think that comes from your office, doesn't it, Peggy? Or that would be, that's two separate things.
At this time, I don't believe that assessments can be emailed,
Okay,
but it is fairly new, so it is definitely something I can keep an eye on it and
Okay.
see if they add it in and make it allowable. But I don't believe, since it's first come out, that it is allowable to send assessments.
okay.
Does Iowa code allow it to be sent electronically instead of through the mail?
Well, it wouldn't be instead of, it would be in addition to.
Okay.
Yeah, even for what we have now, this would be addition to. So,
And when you set this up, Courtney, does it know to do it, or anytime that we're gonna send something out? If I've registered and you're sending something out for a drainage district that I'm part of, do you just say, send it out electronically for drainage district number and it knows to do it, or you
No.
have to go in and input
Yes.
each one of these each time?
So the way it will work is as they sign up, I will enter in their information into a spreadsheet that I can keep track of.
Yeah.
I will also enter them into a group in my email, and it'll be labeled that district.
Gotcha.
So then when something comes up for that district, I can go in, create my email, attach whatever needs to be attached, and select that group to be emailed, and then send it off. Instead of each time an email needs to be sent,
Yep.
adding everybody in, it's just in the initial beginning, I have to have everybody added.
So this will become part of our transfer books also, because as a parcel is possibly transferred, that person isn't necessarily gonna say, oh, by the way, I don't own that parcel anymore. I mean, that'll be on,
It will not be part of the transfer book. It'll be owner's responsibility to let us know if they are no longer in that district.
okay?
So some responsibility back on them, because
Yep.
otherwise, if they don't let us know, they are gonna continue to
Receive
receive
it.
those emails.
Okay, gotcha.
At our next geo permits meeting next month, let's maybe ask them a question about how to make that process easier for you to consolidate those, and maybe there's a way that they can create a file that automatically will go into the Outlook
To group them.
to group it, so you don't have to sit there and try to do it. So when one comes in, it just automatically updates your group.
Right, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So less manual
Right.
items.
Okay. Okay, item 3, Courtney, discuss possible action on drainage ditch drone line. I know we've been discussing this for a couple of years.
You can have a look at it now.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is a list of all of our drainage districts, that have open ditches. I have used the numbers that we have received from invoices from secondary roads, from Adam and Marcus, from them going out and flying some of our ditches that we've requested them to look at so far. Using those numbers, I've compiled a very rough estimate on what it might cost each district if we were to go out and fly the open ditch, just to have a baseline so we can see what that ditch looks like right now. Pinpoint any issues that we might have, whether it be sloughing, beaver dams, anything like that. If there's anything of concern as we're watching it that is felt that needs to be taken care of now, that maybe a landowner or something hasn't caught, we can go ahead and either address it or send a notice out to the landowners to say, hey, this is an issue that we've noticed in the area. However, we'd like to proceed, or maybe it's something we just want to make a note of so that we're aware of when a landowner comes in, if they do report it, different things like that. I have so far gone on under drainage and drainage open ditch videos. This is a very rough looking page so far. Only because I didn't know if we were going to go through and fly all of them or not, so we can edit this and make it look a little bit more pretty if we decide to move forward with this. But if we go in here, we can click on the link and it will take you to the video of what they flew, and landowners can see what that ditch looks like.
It's great for absentee
Nice.
landlords.
Yeah,
And for FEMA too, if we have something, we
Yeah.
can show the
Absolutely.
damage
Yes.
beforehand.
Yes. All these videos we have uploaded onto our YouTube site, the same one that we have the board meetings on.
yeah.
So those are accessible on there. We have them on here as well. I think it would be very beneficial to have this beginning mark to see what our ditches look like right now, and if there's anything that we needed to address. Or, once we have a disaster or a repair or anything that comes up that we need to send them back out there and get video footage or even still pictures of, then we can compare it back to this original, baseline.
Absolutely.
Again, though, these numbers are very, very rough numbers. The ones that are in purple are ones that we've already received invoices for. The rest of those are ones that would still, be charged back to the district if we had them fly it. I don't foresee or have a deadline in mind. If we do go forward with this, it would just be a matter of in secondary roads' free time when they have the availability,
And
if they
what-
need to go
And the
out.
time of year
Yeah.
too, because
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do it in the late fall, you're not gonna be able to see.
right? Not in the middle of winter when everything's full snow.
Right.
Early spring is a good time when the grass is all beaten down
Yeah.
from the snow that's in there,
Mhm.
but not too early, so all the snow's gone.
Right.
Mhm.
And this will be all drainage district dollars too, so it's not like
Correct.
taxpayer dollars. I
Correct.
think it's a great asset for the farmers.
Yep, and for each district, that would get assessed back to that district.
Good.
So. This one would be, we would take action on that to let me know if that is something you want secondary roads to move forward with and continue to do, or if we want to continue to think about that. Just need some direction from the board.
I think we've thought about it long. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm ready to make a decision. I think it's a great,
I think it's a good
Addition.
use of the asset. I think it keeps you guys, flying the drone so that you're proficient in it.
Yep.
Just so that the public knows, for example, a 6 mile long, ditch, 6 3/4 mile long ditch. The charge to have that flown, which was 2 hours on the equipment. Let me see, 3.5 hours for the setup, 2 hours on the equipment.
And then probably the truck. I think
And
the
the-
truck was.
right. Total cost to that, to fly that ditch was $349.91.
small money when you need to have documentation
Yeah.
down the road.
And that's for a
So-
6 mile area?
That's for the entire ditch,
Yeah.
well, not the entire ditch, but for the 6
Open.
Open ditch.
and 3/4 mile of that open ditch, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap to have pictures of that we can go back on.
Mhm.
So then, the question is always gonna come up. For instance, DD 14, I think it is, which is the White Fox. There are several drainage ditches or drainage districts that outlet into that, and they pay an outlet fee for that. And so my question is, okay, they utilize that ditch, they should be paying a portion of that.
Most of the classifications that I've encountered so far are either set up to where the districts that are benefiting from that district
Okay.
are included in the classification,
Okay.
or there is an outlet fee set up already.
Okay.
I don't think we've encountered many, maybe one or two that didn't have one, and I believe we were going through the classification process, at least one of those, and got them included in, so.
Okay, very good.
Are the costs spread out proportionate or?
Be based on the classification, just like we do for any drainage work now. Yep.
Wow.
And if it is a joint district, that charge would also be spread across the adjoining counties landowners as well, that would get sent over. It wouldn't just be Wright County's landowners.
Well, and even for drainage hearings and things like that, they can actually go back and look in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I think this is gonna be very beneficial in multiple different ways.
absolutely. Do I have a motion to proceed on this? Is
So moved.
there a second? Is that a second, Rick?
Yeah,
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There we go. You got your marching orders.
How would you like to present it, like, cause they might be able to know, I mean, they'll see the video, but would you like us to attach maybe a PDF map that you could put up? Or even a Google map that they could link to where the ditch is, so they can see, okay, we started here and ended here?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Something, like, I mean, you can click on
It's not all
a video and not
pictures,
know where it's at,
Right, right.
right? So at least some way of identifying point A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
Yes.
when we put it together, so,
Absolutely.
okay.
And we're still working on making sure that we can get the GPS coordinates when there's a issue spot that's found.
There is, yeah, we can do that, it's, I just wish there wasn't more of an interactive map to show where the drone is while it's flying. You know, I'd like to have 2 different screens, but, we're not quite there yet.
Okay. Item 4, discuss implementing permit applications and other, for other utilities. That would be in our drainage district areas. Courtney,
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna hand you is just a template. This is what Franklin County is using For utility permits for other, places like gas, electric, the wind turbines, different things like that. We do have the one that we did for the pipeline. My recommendation would be, since we spent the time and we spent the money in such detail and thorough effort was put on that, would be to use that pipeline resolution and applications and then just tweak it and edit it to fit any of these other utilities. I know a lot of the information is probably not going to be applicable that is currently in there.
Today I'm reviewing, no, I'm not reviewing, this is,
It's your YouTube
so
site.
today I'm going
went
through
past
every
it.
preset sound on bot.
Hit that X button right
I
there.
haven't changed
Which one? Over on the left side by the YouTube down.
just for this,
Yeah.
just for the purpose.
There.
Yeah.
We were talking about utilizing
Yes.
our current.
Yes, a lot of the specifications and things like that that are gonna be in there pertaining to the pipeline specifically, would have to be removed. But I think a lot of the information that is there is going to be able to cross over and work. This is just the very beginning discussion to see if this is something that we want to continue with. There is nothing that is already drafted up or anything like that. This is me just trying to get the board's kind of feeling for moving forward with looking into doing one for utilities. I have been contacted since we started the pipeline agreement by 2 or 3 other entities that are utilities, and we currently don't have anything set up, so.
Be nice to know they're working in our district, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, definitely, and, you know, if they're running equipment out to the turbines to set up those. And they go over a drainage tile and then nothing happens to it. You know, we wanna know, just like we do with the pipelines.
Yeah.
Who's doing work out there, what's going on, who's digging where, different things like that, whether it's below ground or above ground, they're still gonna have equipment running over.
So your thing is maybe going through this and tweaking it, we take the pipeline stuff out, but
Yes,
make it a little bit more.
Yeah,
for both the resolution and the applications.
I'd definitely like to read through this and kind of get a feel for
What Franklin's
what
doing.
they've done, yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe talk to Gary or Chris.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we won't take any action, more or less information. No.
Yeah.
Good information. Thank you. Okay. It's a lot of information. I appreciate it, Courtney.
Yeah, definitely. Good job.
Thanks.
Any old business or new business before the board? Update on meetings. We had economic development last week. Daryl Stevens, you want to give an update on that?
Again, we're continue to pursue the prospect for the ag business park. And then we also are pursuing the green ammonia facility immediately to the west of Prestige on 320th Street.
Okay. We had our conference board meeting, of course, with the assessor on Monday and approved her budget. And then I don't see, and of course, we had the in an unrelated matter, but somewhat related, the county convention. And we had Lynn Lukes is gonna run for supervisor district number 4. Belmont's 4, right?
Yes.
And help me out with the Shapools.
Greg.
Greg Shapul will be running for district number 2, which I think is Rick's district.
They're taking out papers.
Fine.
Oh, it's taking out papers, yeah, yeah.
Ashley, Bosch.
Ashley, are you taking it? Are you gonna run?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. And you're running for
District number 2.
district number 2 also?
Yep.
All right,
Well, Greg
great.
Shapul, I think is 1.
Yeah.
Oh, 1.
One, yeah, Greg Shapul's one.
Oh, excuse
Yeah,
me.
'cause I'm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
and then goes 2, and then Todd Foss is
four.
Three, yeah. So
Three.
the new
No,
members.
five.
No, I'm three. I'm
Five.
three.
He's five.
He's five.
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Rick Eichenberger also
Uh,
is
Out of that.
taking out paper for five. Okay.
We have
Other than
a,
that, I don't have anything.
attended the CDC Chamber banquet last night. Daryl Stevens gave a talk and that was, attended, like quite a few
Very
people.
well.
Very well done. Explaining what's going on in the county. He did a wonderful job on that.
Appreciate it.
And we have a meeting today at 12:30 and then at 2 o'clock on another prospect, we're working with.
Excellent. Okay,
Anything else before the board? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
so move.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Adjourn. Thank you.